Hi everyone, in today's video, I'll be unboxing a collection that contains 12 of the most historic American coins from the past 150 years. That's right, from the Indian head cent to the Kennedy half dollar, there are some fascinating coins in this set and I cannot wait to take a closer look. You see, each one has a story, some unexpected, some impressive, but each one fascinating, so it's going to be a history lesson, that's for sure. So without further ado, let's take a closer look. And inside of the packaging, you'll find this deluxe presentation case, which is the perfect way to not only present, but also preserve your coins. Inside of the case, you'll find a certificate of authenticity, along with all specifications for each of the coins. And talking about coins, let's start with the Indian head cent. And of all of the US mint pennies ever produced, this has to be one of the most popular and one of the most historically important. That's because these coins were minted just prior to the Civil War and continued being produced until shortly after the turn of the 20th century. So they were in circulation during one of the most important times in US history. But as for the coin's design, the obverse shows Lady Liberty wearing a traditional Native American headdress, which is where the coin got its name. Next up, the 2-cent coin. This coin introduced one of the most famous traditions in US coinage history, as it was the first coin to ever feature the famous motif "In God We Trust," making it an absolute must-have for any US coin collector. But because they were issued during the Civil War, they were only minted for 10 years, so they stand as not only one of the shortest-lived series of coins in US history, but most importantly, they started one of the most famous coinage traditions of all time. Next up, we have the famous Morgan dollar. Struck in the times of cowboys, outlaws, and the frontier, the Morgan dollar represents the history of old America. It's a coin that would have been stolen at gunpoint, settled debt, gambled away, or used to pay an outlaw's bounty. Believed to have the best of all of the silver dollar designs, the Morgan was an immediate hit with US citizens when it was released back in 1878, and the coin continued to be produced all the way up until 1921, when it was replaced by an even newer, albeit less popular, design. Next is the Columbian half dollar, minted between 1892 and 1893. Importantly, this was the United States' first ever commemorative coin issue, starting a commemorative coin tradition that has produced some of the world's most collectible coins. In August 1892, Congress specially authorized 5 million Columbian half dollars to honor the 400th anniversary of Columbus's discovery of the New World. The obverse features Christopher Columbus, of course, and it was actually the first US legal tender coin to bear the portrait of a foreigner. And it's believed that some 5 million half dollars were struck, far beyond the actual demand, and half of them were melted. Here we have the Lincoln cent, minted between 1908 and 1958, which is otherwise known as the wheat penny. But why? Well, the reverse depicts 2 stalks of wheat, whilst the obverse shows Abraham Lincoln as 1909 celebrated the centennial year of his birth. The 6th coin, so we're now halfway through the collection, is the Buffalo nickel. Now, this was minted between 1913 and 1938. The coin's obverse shows a Native American Indian. However, the person depicted is believed to have the features of Native Americans from a few different tribes, a way of celebrating the wider culture of Native America. Whilst the reverse side of the coin, as you might expect, depicts a left-facing buffalo standing atop a natural landscape. And like the obverse's Native American, the detail boasted by the buffalo on the reverse, it really is unparalleled. And at the time this coin was minted, its design was truly revolutionary. And here we have the Standing Liberty Quarter, which was minted from 1916 to 1930. And when it was first introduced, American citizens instantly fell in love with it, and it's not hard to see why. It boasts a beautiful design that was as intricate as any coin of its day, and even though these coins were minted for less than 15 years, they have staked their claim in history as one of the most beautiful quarter designs. Next up, the Mercury Dime, which was minted between 1916 and 1945. But why did it get its name Mercury? Well, it all came from confusion over the design, as many people thought the reverse depiction of a young liberty was actually the Roman god Mercury. The Walking Liberty design, minted between 1916 and 1947, is one that very few coin collectors will fail to recognise, as it heralded as one of the best designs to ever grace a US coin, thanks to the image of Lady Liberty seemingly gliding across a sunrise landscape. And in addition to the coin's design, the timing of this particular coin's minting makes it especially valuable, as it was first minted in 1916 and minted up until 1947, so this coin was around during some of the most iconic periods of American history. Nowadays, collectors are constantly striving to get their hands on these coins, though fewer and fewer of them exist with each passing year. Next up, the 1943 Lincoln Steel Cent, which is an extremely interesting one-year-only wartime issue. And it was actually struck from steel due to a wartime shortage of copper. This led to many nicknames for the coin, such as Wartime Cent, Steel War Penny, and even Steely. Next up is a coin that's still being minted today. It's the Kennedy Half Dollar, which was first minted back in 1964 as a memorial to the assassinated United States President John F. Kennedy. It was issued just a matter of months after the popular statement's death, so of course it was hugely popular amongst collectors who wanted a coin to mark the late president. Although the mint greatly increased production in an attempt to meet demand, this half dollar was rarely seen in circulation when it was first minted. And finally, coin number 12, the 1999 Delaware State Quarter. So back in 1999, the United States introduced their extremely collectible 50 state quarters program. This was a huge change in US coinage, and the act authorized the production of 50 commemorative quarters, which featured a different reverse design that was determined by the individual states themselves. And this was the very first of the 50 state quarters, making it hugely popular amongst collectors. The obverse features President George Washington, whilst the reverse celebrates Caesar Rodney's historic horseback ride in 1776. This was where Rodney rode 18 miles through heat and thunderstorms to cast his vote in favour of Delaware, signing the Declaration of Independence, and it was Rodney's vote that turned out to be the tiebreaker. So because of that, I think this coin has to be my favourite from the collection. Now, like I said earlier, this set really does feature 12 of the most fascinating coins issued in the US over the past 150 years. And I can imagine quite a few collectors have tried to compile a collection as significant as this one. But the distance between the two countries has made it more of a chore than the pleasure it should be. But we've done all the hard work for you, and you just get the enjoyment. However, due to these coins being some of the key issues in any collection of American coins, it has been difficult to obtain them all at once. So our stock is incredibly limited, and it goes without saying that they won't be around for long. So if you're interested, you can find out more here. But all that's left for me to say is thanks for joining, and I will see you all next time.